Hello everybody, welcome to the top 10 DIY Christmas tutorials. This is a compilation of my top 10 with the most views Christmas DIYs since my channel began. So we'll start from the 10 to 1 being the video with the most views. In fact, the final video has got over 35,000 views, and that just blows me away. So I'm going to hush up and we'll go through these next 10 videos. Now, I haven't sped anything up, it'll just be the, you can just watch the DIYs as they happen. I may come in and intersect on occasion, but let's go through to the first video. Hello crafters, welcome to the first video on elf creations. Now if you're frugal like me, you save your stems from picks that you bought from your dollar stores, your pound shops, your florists and so forth. Now I like to keep these because I like to make my own picks. Now I want to show you something that I did for Christmas that has just gone. I'm just going to cut this particular leftover pick branch. I'm just going to tidy it up so I get rid of all these knobbly bits at the bottom, so just get rid of that. So I've got those, and these are available in G's Embellishment Emporium. I've got them in the gold, the silver and the white, so I'm probably going to use 2 of each. Now I made these are made for the tree, so we use these on our Christmas tree for the Christmas just gone. So I want to wish you all a very, very happy new year. I'm looking forward to this new channel because I love Christmas and it just seems like the natural thing for me to do. That way I can craft Christmas throughout the year. Right, I got this ribbon, and this is just some lovely blue ribbon, which is kind of organza, but it's wired, and I got that from the pound store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 kind of bunny ears, about kind of 6 inches in length. So I'm going to cut that, and cut that. They don't have to be exact. So if there are slightly different sizes, then that's just going to add to the to the effect. And I'm going to cut that. So I'll end up with 3 bunny ears, if you like. Okay, so I end up with 3 bunny ears that look like that. What I'm going to do is get my leftover pick stem and put that in the center of one, so it looks like that. This can be tricky, but once you get your hands in gear, it's quite easy. Now using these sprays, I'm going to lay them in. Just going to lay the sprays in, and then another bunny ear, some more of the sprays, just layer those in, and the last one. Oh, right, and then what I need, get yourself some assorted sized cable ties or zip ties. I actually got these from the local pound store, and I'm going to zip tie that all together so it's tight and secure on the stem. So I get something that looks like that, and these are all wired so I can manipulate them and move them around. Okay, I'm going to cut off this excess And I can wrap this round also, just to neaten it up. Now, using some florist tape, I am going to wrap that around also, just to give it that finished shop bought look. I didn't quite get all that in, so I need to incorporate that in there. So I'm just going to spin it around and give it that kind of finished look. Stretch it. There we go. And that gives me a pretty pick for a Christmas tree. Now, you could add flowers, you could add any other embellishments that you may have in your stash, but it's just a simple way to use these up instead of throwing them away, and you get something you can utilize and glamorize your Christmas trees. And again, you can do these for each season. You could add some Easter eggs and get some Easter ribbon. And you know, if you're in some of the states in the US where your trees are up all year and you decorate all year, this would be a great way to incorporate picks into your tree using items in your stash. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon with another Christmas tutorial. Take care now. Bye bye. That pick was actually a video that the first video that I had on the Art Creations channel, which I no longer have. So that was from back in 2017, I think 2018. This next one is an oldie, but I do love how these ornaments turn out. Kind of vintage looking Santa ornaments. And when I got home, I looked at them and I thought, it's only cardboard. It's only kind of thick cardboard. I mean, it is quite thick. I just want to take one out so I can show you. So it is quite thick. And I thought to myself, I can do these myself with the stuff I have in my stash. Now, these weren't expensive. They were 99 pence each, or 4 for £3. And I thought that was great. And they'll go really nice with my tree this year. As a lot of you know, I brought a CD with lots of Christmas images on it. And I found a series of angel images that I liked. So I'm going to use these angel images, and I'm going to do the same thing, just with using all I've done is I've chosen the images and printed out on cardstock. I'm going to use some of this cardboard, which comes on, this particular cardboard is kind of the backing of some envelopes, so I'm going to use that and we'll see where we go. So I'm going to cut all these out and then I will come back to you. Okay, that's all those cut out, and don't throw these pieces away. These would make absolutely perfect size pieces for sentiments when you're doing cards and things. So I'm going to keep those. Some of the thin ones I threw away because they were just too small, and some of them are slightly different size. You got some thinner ones and you got some wider ones, because obviously it depends on the photo, or the image I should say. So I'm just going to put them in some sort of size order. Got 2 of those and sort of 3 of this size and 3 of the smaller ones, and I'm going to measure them and see how many I will get on a piece of card. See, on this one I should get all 3. I hope. Looks like it. Okay, so I'm going to cut off this edge using my paper trimmer, which I still need to invest in a better one. So I'm just going to cut this excess off. Which obviously it doesn't go all the way through. I'm going to measure these slightly thinner images here. How wide are they? They are 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. So how much have I got here? Okay, that's fine. I have enough, just enough on this particular piece of card stock to put these on. So I am going to adhere these 3 images onto this cardboard. Maybe I should just do 2. No, you know, I'm going to use it all. I'm going to put all 3 of them on. And I'm going to put them on using Mod Podge. So I'm going to get hold of my fan brush, which I don't have. So let me just go and get it. Okay, slight change of plan. Because these ornaments are two-sided, I only need 6 of the images and I printed off 8. So I've cut the cardstock, sorry, not the cardstock, I've cut the cardboard to the appropriate size, and I'm going to glue using the Mod Podge. Let's move these ones out of the way. I can put a layer of Mod Podge onto the cardboard. Put one of the images on. Turn it over and do the other side. And then obviously remember to check that your images are both, the top of the images, both on each side. So I've got the head at the top on both sides. Now obviously my ones aren't going to be as thick as the ones from the store, but you could always double, triple or even quadruple the thickness of cardboard that you have at home to give them that extra thickness, but I don't think they need to be overly thick. And so far these have cost me, I haven't had to buy anything for these ornaments. I have the cardboard, I have the glue, I have the images which I just printed off. So I've not actually spent any money to create these images or to create these ornaments. These would be a really lovely thing to sell in a you know, a church fete or a school fete, or if you're doing some in the US. I know you guys do a lot of fairs at this time of year, craft fairs. So this would be a really cheap ornament that you could mass produce and sell on. This one is slightly a different size, but I'm not going to let that worry me, because once I could cut the edges down. It doesn't really affect the image on the reverse. And I'm going to treat the edges with some distress inks anyway. So using I'm going to use the walnut stain, because I want these to have a really dark kind of aged edge. And these distress inks, they cover any kind of boo-boos you might have created around the edges. Now you could leave them like this without putting a layer of glue over the top, but I am going to put a layer of Mod Podge over the top of these, and I know that the distress ink will discolor the picture, which is great because I want these to be old and vintage looking, so that discoloration will actually help with that. I'm trying to do this as much as I can in real time, just to give you an idea of how quick these can be put together. The only thing that I cut away for so far is the cutting out of the images, but that didn't take that, and it took a couple of minutes. So I want to try and do as much as I can on screen with you. So I'm going to give these another layer of Mod Podge on the tops. Obviously I'm only going to be able to do one side at a time because they are double-sided. And please be aware that the more you wet these images, the more you'll distort them, because obviously it's not I don't have a laser printer, where if you have a laser printer you'll have, you know, I think you can keep the color more, where this, with my printer, when you add any kind of liquid to the ink, it will get rid of it, it will water it down, so the image may discolor slightly, which I'm fine with, because as I said, I want these to be something that looks like you've had them in your Christmas collection for, you know, years and years and years. That's one of the reasons why I chose these these kind of cheruby looking images, because they're quite Victorian, quite traditional looking. So I am going to let this dry. As we all know, Mod Podge doesn't take long to dry, so I'm going to let those dry, and then I'm going to coat the other side in Mod Podge, and then I will come straight back to you. Okay, that's both sides dry. Now you could, I don't have them on the ones I bought from the store, but you could put some of these corner protectors on that I sell in my store. Now I do them in the rose gold, which is that one there, the gold, the bronze, and the silver. So I'm going to put one of each on one of these just to show you what they would look like. And I might even do it, I'm not sure, I haven't decided which colour I prefer. I was thinking the bronze. So that's what it would look like with the corner protectors on. Now you don't have to put them on, I just thought it would be a nice idea. But I think I'm going to put the bronze ones on. So I'm just going to do one of these and put the bronze, I just had my pliers, there they are, and put the bronze corner protectors on. Now you basically just place it onto your book or your page or your piece of artwork, and you squeeze the corner protector, and it has little claws in it which basically grab your piece of work or your page. So as you can see, I'm just literally squeezing them. And using my hole punch, I'm going to use the smaller hole, and I'm going to put a hole. I don't want to go too far down because otherwise I'll be putting a hole in her head. And using some good old twine. I think most of my decorations that I've made for my tree this year are being hung up with twine. And in fact, most of the decorations for my tree this year I've made, which is I'm really chuffed about that. So I will do the other two off camera, but just to show you the shop bought ones, which were 99p, and the ones that I just created there. They're at the same, very similar in size. The thickness is different obviously, but as I said, you could marry up more than one piece of cardboard to make them thicker. But there's my one, and there's the shop bought one. So I wanted to show you that it's really easy sometimes to see things in the store, come home and look at your stash, and you can realise you can make them yourself. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Those are some ornaments that I still have today, and I still love them. I think they turned out really nice, and that was back when I had my store, I think, so I used a lot of items from my store. Here's some more Christmas ornaments. This was more recent, I believe 2020. I still use these, and I love the way that these turned out. So let me hush up so you can listen. Rice paper, decoupage sheets, and loads of different designs come up. I'm going to be doing a Christmas ornament. Now this is a set of 2 paper mache ornaments that I got from Poundland last Christmas. Please wait until things settle down in regards to the COVID outbreak. You may be lucky to have a larger store who still has some of the Christmas craft stuff on display like I do, but I mean, I didn't get these recently. I haven't left my house in about 8 weeks, but up to this point, and today's date that I record this is Friday the 8th of May, but I know that my larger store still has some of the Christmas craft out all year round. I've done one already, but I'm going to be doing this one with you. I'm going to be using some of the Poundland decoupage brushes, which I must say I really like, and they're actually really well made. I was really impressed. I've got some 5cm, no, it's not 5cm, it's 1/2 centimeter burgundy ribbon. I've got some acrylic paint, and this is the gloss varnish. I've got my white gesso, I've got my Mod Podge, which is the matte. I've got some blue glitter glue, and I have my Snowtex. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to paint my ornament. Now I'm going to paint both sides, because this ornament is going to be decoupaged on both sides. So I'm just going to paint it, and I'm probably going to give it a couple of coats just to get rid of the brown colour from the paper mache covering. I don't really want that showing through on the ornament itself, so I am going to get this covered back and front with probably 2, maybe 3 layers, and I'll be right back with you. Okay crafters, now it's time to cut out the images I want from here. Now I want these 2, I think. So I'm just going to cut them out, and I'm going to bring them up so you can have a closer look. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear around the outside edge.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy...
So what I will do on one side is the same thing I will do on the other. So I won't bore you with doing both sides on camera. I will do one side, and then I'll have a photograph of both the sides at the end. Okay, let's bring over our ornament and our Mod Podge and our decoupage brush, and I'm going to put some more podge on them. Actually, you know what, I think crafters, I might put both of these on the actual ornament with you on camera. Just as easy as I'm here. turn it over and do the same thing. Okay crafters, that's dry now, so now comes the messy part. I've got my Snowtex, and around the edges I am going to put the Snowtex. And then towards the top here, I'm going to fill it all with Snowtex. My camera died, crafter, sorry about that. So I've got Snowtex all the way around the outside. Now I need to leave that to dry, and I will do the reverse. So I will come back once that is dry and we'll move on. Okay crafters, so my Snowtex is now dry. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and as you can see where all the berries are, I'm going to put in a dot of this glitter glue. Now this is just glitter glue that I've got from Poundland. It's very similar to the branded one. This is from Dovecraft. Stickles, very similar to Stickles. So I need to let that dry, and then the only other glitter glue that I'm going to use is this iridescent, and I'm going to put this over the snow.
Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a happy new year.
Okay crafters, so the glitter glue is dry, as you can see. Now before I put on my varnish, I'm going to put on my hanger. So I have my burgundy ribbon, and I'm going to put a bit of glue on the bottom of my ornament, just a bit of glue, and I'm going to submerge my ribbon into that. I'm going to take it round. I haven't done the back, as you can see. I will do that off camera, but once you see the picture at the end, you'll see it all finished. I'm just putting dabs of glue in areas I think it's going to need to support it, or to help it go around the corners. And then back round to the beginning. Okay, cut off the excess. Okay, now we come to hanging it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on the shoulders. We're going to put our ribbon in. And we're going to make sure we have enough of a loop, and take it back over to the other shoulder. cutting off the excess. Okay, let's get rid of these blue strings. Okay, now it comes to decorating it. So I've got some things from my stash, and we're going to decorate it by putting some foliage, again in keeping with my theme of my Victorian Christmas. I have these pip berries from Poundland, and all I'm going to do is they come like this, so I'm going to twist it around, twisty twisty twisty, and then fold the twist up so the wire is not so long. We're going to add some of these berries. And then we're going to add some miniature pine cones. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is, using my Artiste acrylic paint gloss varnish, I'm going to squeeze some onto my ornament, and then I'm going to paint the varnish all over the top, and that will seal it and keep it safe for years to come. And this will dry clear with a gloss finish. And it also seals that glitter glue in. Not that the glue is going to go anywhere, but it seals it in. I thought it would be quite a nice idea to do these top 10 videos, as this is the last Christmas that I'm with you. I think what I might do is I may do one for winter, one for spring, one for summer, one for autumn, and one for next year. So obviously I'm leaving YouTube, even though that doesn't technically sound like I'm leaving YouTube, but I'm not doing any lots of videos like I have done in the past. I'll still bring you hopefully the Christmas home tour and the autumn home tour next year, but I think I might just do a few of these videos for each season, then that way I can touch base with you throughout the year. So let me know if you think it's a good idea in the comments below. I appreciate your feedback. Hello crafters, this is Gareth from G's Creations, and welcome to video number 2 and week number 2 of my Christmas in July series. Today we are going to be making these snowmen Christmas decorations, Christmas tree decorations. Now all you'll need is some vintage looking music sheet paper, and you'll need some embellishments, some glue, scissors, some twine to hang them up with. I'm going to show you what I did, because I didn't have any vintage style music paper, so I found this one online, and I will leave a link to this vintage music sheet paper below, and I just printed some off. I then went on and I found a snowman template that I liked, which I will also link below, and I found a carrot nose template and a hand or arm template, which I will link all those templates below this video. So I'm using as an upcycle, as I like to reuse and keep things. I've kept these, which is I had some gems on them, some adhesive bling on them, and I have, in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I cut out earlier. Using my template, I have now drew around the template and cut it out. So that's what we're going to do. I will do the same on the music note paper. So put my template to one side. This is going to be the actual ornament. So what I need is to draw around the side which is going to, if you have the piece that's not going to show facing you, that way you get the best, you'll get the best, I know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm going to draw around this, so when I cut it out I'll be gluing it to this part of the bit of chipboard that I've got here. So I'm going to quickly cut that out using my Tim Holtz scissors. Now if you've got a vintage book at home, then that's great. You can just use the you know, the music sheet paper out of that, but I don't have any music sheet paper, so I just done a Google search and I found this one that I liked, so I thought I would use it. You could, instead of printing out onto just normal photocopy of paper, you could print it out onto cardstock, and then you wouldn't need to have something rigid for its back for it to be glued onto. That kind of skips this stage, but I didn't print it out on cardstock. I just printed it out on paper, so I need to give it some stability. So using my glue stick, and this is just a standard glue stick from the 99p store, and remembering to cut your hanger so it can be sandwiched between these two layers. So I'm just going to sandwich that in, use my cutout and place this on top. Now, as I said, if you used cardstock, you would skip this. You wouldn't have to have something on the back. You can just use the rigidity of the cardstock to see it through. Now, using my vintage photo distress ink, I am now going to distress the edges. All the way around. Just to give it that extra bit of distress. Vintage photo is one of my favourites anyway. You're also going to need some Google eyes, and I have plenty of those. So let me put those there, because knowing my luck I'll end up knocking them over. Okay. I'm going to use the templates that I found online and cut out his hands, his arms, and his nose. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I've cut out the nose. Now you may recognize this nose. This nose is actually the nose from Olaf, which is the Frozen. Yeah, I think it's from Frozen. So using my Tim Holtz Distress markers, this is Wild Honey. I'm just going to colour in this carrot. And I'm going to be using Wild Honey and Ripe Crimson, just to give it slight differences in colour in different areas. I've cut out the arms. Now you could back those if you wanted. You could back the nose if you wanted, or like the music paper, you could just print those out onto cardstock and you wouldn't have to worry about them being so flimsy. Now in my multitude of wobbly eyes, I've got 4 different sizes. I'm going to be using the smallest of size. Once I find one, I can show you. This is the size I'm going to be using. Really, really small size. Now I actually put like coal that people use for their for the buttons, but I just used 3 of the large eyes and took out the black bits inside, so I'm going to do that with this one as well. So using the art glitter glue, I am going to adhere the nose and the eyes. And you can put this on in any fashion you like. You could have it wobbly, have it crooked, have it straight, have it... I have one here where it's slightly off the page. This one here, I've put a bend in the paper, and it's slightly off the ornament, just to give it like a 3D effect. Right, I'm going to put some glue on the back of these googly eyes and place them on the snowmen or snowman. There we go. And these I'm simply just going to cut open and take out the black inside. Now if you've got a small circle punch, you could do that, or you could freehand them so they're not perfectly round. It's just, this is easy. And we all like some easy things in life, don't we? So again, 3 dots, 1, 2 and 3, and then I'm going to put these in place. And on the previous ones, I've glittered the edges, and I just used this glitter glue in the gold, so I'm going to do the same thing. Get a paintbrush, get some of the glitter glue and just smear it around the edges. Now you could, you know, have as much of this or as little as you like. It's to total preference. I tend to have it slightly heavier at the bottom and lighter on the top. So that's that. And again, just going to use some glitter glue for the arms, and you can position these anywhere you want and adhere them to the back. You could even sandwich them between the two layers of paper if you wanted to. And you could have it plain like those ones, or you could add some ribbon for a scarf, or you can add some, this one's got like a sign that says Merry Christmas and a twine scarf, so you can decorate them as you know, as let your imagination go wild. So that's a really easy and simple Christmas decoration for your tree. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week for week number 3. Take care now. Bye bye. Hello crafters, this is Gareth from G's Creations. Welcome to today's video, and I'm going to make a Christmas decoration using these items. Now that's my cutting board, my staple gun, some Jolie's Boutique stickers, the new double-sided tape that I'm selling in my store. I'll just show you the size. It is about 12 millimeters and by 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to be using that. We're going to be using Inca Gold and my good old dictionary, the vintage paper. I've been using this constantly since I got it. I just love the look of it. So we're going to be making one of these, if I can find where I've just put it. There it is. We're going to be making one of these, a Christmas tree ornament. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out 3 sheets of this paper. So just 3 sheets. I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to cut these sheets in 1 inch wide strips. If my printer would, that's it. Yeah, my printer, my paper cutter. I need to change the blade, I think. I need to get myself a decent paper cutter. That's what I need to get. Gonna get one of those Fiskars rotary ones that everyone raves on about. That's my next big purchase, I think. And there's just a little bit that comes off of the last one. So you end up, you don't need your paper cutter anymore. So you end up with 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 sheets. You'll need to stack them all on top of each other, fold them over as neatly as you can so you get the center. Now if you've got a big enough stapler that will get in without having to bend them over, then please use that, but my stapler is only shallow, so I have to use what I've got. And you're going to staple near that center line, or as near to that center line as you can possibly get, so you end up with a staple that runs through them all like that. Now you could use wet glue if you wish. You could use your art glitter glue, but I'm just going to use this double-sided tape. I am going to put a tiny bit of double-sided tape on each one of these flaps. Now it's important to do it on this side where your staple is smooth. You do that on each individual one. So I am going to do that and come straight back to you until you end up with it looking like that. Now there is the flat piece of the staple. Now you do the same thing with these, but you bend them towards the two bits of staple that bend inwards. And on this one I'm going to show you that you can use your art glitter glue if you wish. It's entirely up to you which one you use, whether you use your art glitter glue or whether you use double-sided tape. They both work, so it's entirely your choice. So just do a couple of these with you on camera, and then I shall do the rest of these off. The art glitter glue does take a bit longer for it to stick down, like that one keeps popping up as you just saw, but with the double-sided tape it's slightly more instant. So I'm going to do the rest of these, then I'll be straight back. Once you've adhered it all, you end up with something that looks like that. Now I'm going to stick on one of these lovely dimensional stickers from Jolie's. Just got to decide which one. I think I'll do this one. But before I do that, I'm going to use my Inca Gold, and I don't know how well this shows up on camera, but I don't know how well that shows up, but I've inked all the edges in the ink of gold. So just using my finger, rubbing the Inca Gold from the center outwards. Going to wipe my finger on a baby wipe because I have gold finger. Yes, I just did that. Oh gosh. Right, I need a bit of twine for it to hang up, so let's cut a bit of twine off. And as I did before, put a little knot. Pop it in between two of the petals if you like. Put some glue on the petals and then sandwich this between them. And then using your decoration, your adornment, whatever you choose to use, just putting a bit of glitter glue on the back just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, because I want these to last for quite a while. And there you have it, something that's really simple, and I think they look really, really elegant. There we go. So book paper Christmas ornaments. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Everybody, welcome to Create at Home with G, and my first video after being away for a good part of this year. Thank you all so much for your support, your comments, your messages, your cards. Thank you for my employees and my colleagues for being so supportive. It really has helped me get through this past kind of 8-9 months. I'm not going to go into details on what was wrong, because hopefully you've been kept in the loop in regards to my community tab. So if you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, head over to the community tab and you'll read all the updates that I've been given. Today is the first video in a week-long series. I'm going to start off my return to YouTube with a week-long series of Christmas cards, and the theme of these Christmas cards is craft. So all the Christmas craftmas, haha, see what I did there? Are going to be using craft coloured cardstock as the main kind of inlay of the cards. Today's video I'm going to be using this Woodland Christmas. Now if you are over on Create at Home with Elf Creations, you know I did a whole series of videos using the stamp set. Sorry crafters, I'm a bit rusty. So I'm going to use this. This is quite an old stamp set. I don't know if you'll be able to still get it, but I'm going to use that. I've got all the images that I want on the stamp blocks already. So let's get started. I'm also going to be using 2 of the sizes from this 6-piece cutting die set. It's MNC Boutique. It was a gift from a lovely friend of mine. So I'm using, let me measure them for you. I'm measuring, see, I'll tell you, crafters, I'm rusty. This is 3 1/4, and this one measures 2.5 by 1 3/4, and this one measures 2 1/4. So I'm going to be using those. I've already cut my inlays, so they're ready to go. As you can see, it's there and there, so I don't need to do that. We're going to be using multiples of different inks. We're going to use VersaFine, Nouveau Hybrid, the Poppy Red, the Acorn Brown and the Safari Green. I'm also going to be using Vintage Photo, Distress Inks, Forest Moss Distress Ink and Mowed Lawn Distress Ink. So I'm going to be using quite a few different inks today. And obviously the good old art glitter glue. So making sure that I'm in camera. Rewatching these videos, it's one of the things that's been constant is the way I introduce the videos. I've had a few name changes over the past 6 years, but yeah, it's Hello Crafters. That seems to be the way that I introduce myself. But it's nice watching these older videos through the years. I can remember the very first year that I was on YouTube, the videos were a bit sketchy to say the least. It's been fun. I'm only going to concentrate on the left hand, or my left hand, your right hand corner. I think that's right. It might be your left hand. Okay, and then I'm going to go on to the forest moss, and I'm going to use the pine branches from that stamp set, and again I'm going to go over the bottom and the left hand corner, changing the direction of my stamped image ever so slightly each time, just to give the texture, give texture, and to give it so it flows, but it doesn't all flow in the same direction. And then moving over to the Safari Green, I have this stamp here, and it's just, let me show you on the stamp set. I'm going to be, so I've used this one here, the holly, and now I'm going to be using this. I'm also going to be using the berries and the pine cone. And this kind of just acts as a filler and also gives it more depth and direction. Again, on and off the page. Okay, now moving over to the poppy red, and let's put some berries in. And now we need the acorn brown, because we're going to use that on the pine cone. Just bring that up to you so you can see it better, and let me wipe down my workstation. Okay, now let's work on the card base. So I've got a dark green inlay. Now my card that I've decided to use is a 5x7, but please feel free to use whatever card base that you want, whether that be A2, C6, 6x6, 4x4, 3x3, it's up to you. This on my card base. And then we'll do the same thing. Oh, I've got a bit of ink on there, never mind. I've got my rubber, I can rub that off. Now I'm going to attach the inlay. Now I'm not going to put foam tape on the back of this. I'm not going to give it any dimension here, but I will give the sentiment a bit of dimension. Okay, so we have that. Okay, now we have to stamp out the sentiment, making sure that my die cut is the right way around. Now the sentiment I'm using is wishing you the best Christmas ever, and I'm using the VersaFine for that. Okay, and on this particular piece I'm going to just use the vintage photo and go around the edges just to knock down the vibrant green, and I'm also going to do that on the white inlay, the sentiment, just to knock it back a bit, because obviously the rest of the card is quite muted in colour. Let's put my pin back in, my art glitter glue. This on the base. And then I'm going to put some foam squares on the back the sentiment. Okay, and let's stick this down. And there we have it. So that's the first of 5 cars this week. Hello crafters, this is Gareth from G's Creations. Welcome to today's video. I brought this pack of 4 balls of string from the 99p shop, and I want to make one of those ball string snowmen. So what I thought I'd do is I would add some string to one of these to make this bigger, and then have this one as the middle, and then the one that I'm taking string off will be small enough for the top. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to unravel it and add to it, and then we'll come back and we'll see where we're at. Okay, as you can see, my lovely ball didn't turn out too lovely. I followed the shape, but it kind of went all over the place toward the end. But it's a home craft, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to put a dab of glue where the string ends, just to keep it from fraying and to keep it neat. I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of the one that I didn't unravel. So I'm going to put a good amount of hot glue on this portion and stick it to the one I beefed up. And then I took some string off. I got loads of string that I took off of one this size to make the head. So again, I am just going to put some hot glue at the bottom of that one and place on top of that. Now I've got my wobbly eyes and I've got my yeah, I think I'll go for that size. I'm going to use that size eye. I need to find some buttons for my snowman, and I think I will order another one of those small hats that I used on previous projects, like the ones I use on the candle jars, the snowman candle jar, but the smaller size. I used it on the bowling pin. Some of you may have seen pictures of that on Facebook. So I'm just looking for some buttons. The nose I fashioned out of a wooden M that I had, which was orange coloured, so I'm going to stick that on. So I'm just going to put some hot glue and put him on. I'll lay him down so you can see him. The same thing with his eyes, just a dab of hot glue on the back. And I've got this, there's a scarf that I've had for years that I cut up and I used on the bowling pin as the scarf. So I thought I would do the same with this. So I'm just going to glue a button here. One. Then have 2 on the bigger part. 2. And 3. And then once I've bought the hat, I will show some pictures of him with the hat on at the end of the video. What I might do is I might go around and spray him. I've got this spray here. It's a shimmer spritz and it's frost, so I might give him a spray with this and see if that gives him a frosty glitz. Either that, or I might but I might also use some iridescent glitter glue and just paint him with glitter glue. So there'll be some pictures of him totally finished at the end of the video. Thank you for watching me, and please hit the subscribe button. I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Okay, crafters, this is the finished article. I found a use for the other half of the other pair of sock I used on a previous video. I'll link that video below. I used a sock to stuff a Christmas ornament I made, and this is the other one to the pair. So this is the finished little snowman. I changed the nose because I didn't like the nose that I had on there, and I've got the little hat, and it's got little holly leaves and a little red poppy on there for Christmas, and then I attached one of these Jolie's little stickers on there. But I really like him. I think he turned out really cute. There'll be some pictures at the end. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Hello crafters, this is Gareth from G's Creations. As you saw from the thumbnail, we are going to make a really super cute reindeer Christmas ornament made out of clothes pegs. Here is the little guy. I think he is absolutely adorable. Sorry my hands are covered in brown paint, but that's what you get when you're painting something so fine. But isn't he cute? I made this one after seeing a pin on Pinterest, so this is not an original idea by myself, and I had to make him, and I had to do a tutorial on him because he is just adorable, absolutely adorable. So you'll need some wiggly eyes, a nail file, a scrap piece of brown card, your Martha Stewart twig bunch, some flatback gems, your art glitter glue, and some brown paint, depending on what you use, which brown paint you use. So let me just move those things aside. And of course you'll need 3 pegs. So the first thing you're going to do is take the pegs off their spring-loaded clip, and then you are going to paint them. Now I've already painted some to get it started, and you're going to glue 3 parts of the peg. Now pegs in here, the spring clip is there and you pinch it that way, so you're putting glue on the 3 flat surfaces on the inside. So you'll do that on all 3 of the pegs. So I'm going to do that with you now. So 1 flat side, 2 flat side, 3 flat sides, and then you sandwich the peg back in its original shape. Last one. Now you're probably thinking, why is your paint job so rough and ready? That's exactly what I want. I want it to have the distressed look. So I'm going to let them dry and I'll be straight back. Okay, I wanted these to dry and set a little before I glue them together. Now you're going to put some glue on one of the flat sides, and you're going to stick 2 of them together. So you're basically doubling the thickness. Okay, so you'll end up with something that looks like that. Okay, then the third one you glue in the opposite direction, so they overlap and then meet like that. So I'm going to put some glue on this flat surface here. and glue this down. Hold it and let that take. These are really simple and they're going to go really well with my kind of rustic vintage theme that I've got of my Christmas tree this year. Now, using my nail file, bring over my bin so I don't make a mess. I am going to run the nail file over down the edges, just to rough them up, just to give them that vintage look. Across the front, anywhere where there's wood, you can rough them up, so to speak. Now, you could, if you wanted, you could leave it so these were the deer's antlers, but as you can see on this one, I chose to use the punch, and I'm going to do the same thing. So, using a bit of scrap, I'm going to punch out one and turn it over and punch a second, and they will give me my antlers. You're also going to need a red nose, so use whatever gem or embellishment you have in your stash. I'm using these flat back pearls. Pop it on, and then in my many wobbly eyes, I've got really tiny ones, so I'm going to stick those on. So pop a dab of art glitter glue for the eyes. I can barely pick that one up, it's so small. Pop that one on. Pop the second one on. And then just above the eyes, I'm going to add the antlers. One in one direction and one in the other. I suggest you use double-sided or cardstock that's the same on both sides for when you're because obviously one has to go in one direction and one in the other. So if you use cardstock that's got a white back, you're going to get one brown, one white. And then I simply screwed in one of the eyelets in the back and adhered, and put through some twine, and that's how I'm going to hang it on my Christmas tree. Really fast, really simple, really cute, and I think they're going to look really great on the Christmas tree this year. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again soon. Take care now. Hello crafters, welcome to G's Creation, and today's video, as requested by many of you, I am doing the sock snowman. For this project you'll need some rice. Now I just bought a 1 kilogram pack of rice from Tesco's, which is a supermarket over here. Cheapest chips is their basic brand. I think it was like 50 pence for a kilogram. You'll need some buttons from your stash. You'll need some sports socks. I got these from my local 99p shop. So I'm going to be using one of those. So I've got 2 pairs, so I have enough to make 4 snowmen. You'll need some cotton, a pair of scissors, some googly eyes, a split pin or brad, or something else to make a nose. You could make, or eyes. You could use some pins just to make sure you cut off the sharp pointy part. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to cut this sock just after the heel part, or just before, depending on which way you look at it. Okay, the next thing you want to do is turn your sock inside out. cut off some of your cotton, and we need to seal this open edge here. So I am just going to gather it up, if I can get hold of it, and I'm going to seal this open end with this cotton thread. Whoops. And you want to do this so it's as neat and as snug as possible, because obviously you don't want any of the whatever you decide to fill it with. And you can fill this with anything that's dried, because obviously it's not going to expire because it's dried, but rice is probably the best thing. So I'm going to turn it back the right way, and this is the fun part. Excuse all the fluff. What can you do? Right. And now we are going to fill this sock with the rice. I'm going to fill it all the way pretty much to the top. Okay, I don't know how well you can see, but I've literally just got the hem left. Let me move that out the way. I could probably get a bit more in there. Yeah, I can. That's good. Right, fill it up with some more. I suppose, as you know, the more rice you put in it, the chubbier your snowman's going to be. Right. I now need to tie some thread around the top. So get some more thread. And spin it. Be careful not to let your rice fall out. I'm going to tie it. Just to show you, that's what I'm doing. I'm just tying the top here. So obviously the angle's not the best for this particular craft, but I'll try and show you different angles as I go along, as I can. So I'm just tying off the top, making sure it's neat and secure. Okay, cut off the excess, and now I can mold my snowman. That's how he is currently, but I'm going to mold him to a snowman shape, and using the twine or this cotton, I can give him the defined body and head shape. Like that. It's really hard to do it on my particular camera angle, so you'll get better views when I take photos and have those shown at the end. So again, lots of knots, making sure that it's neat and secure. I can still play around with him. So cute. Do my best to show him to you. Now, using that, I have a scarf that I made that I've had for years, that I have been cutting up and using for different projects. I use this scarf on the bowling pin. I use this scarf on the string snowman. So I'm just going to cut some of the scarf off. to be this snowman scarf. I'm cutting a scarf to make a scarf, and I'm going to put that around his neck. These are so cute, like that. And I like the fact that you can still mold it even now, which is so cool. You can make him so he's fatter or less fat. But he's a snowman, he needs to be fat. Right, I'm just going to glue on some googly eyes using the art glitter glue. Now this split pin, this brad, I'm going to put some glue on the flat portion, so as it hits the sock, it will glue it in and keep it in place. Now with the part that we cut off, I'm going to roll the edges to give it a kind of hem, and we're going to use that as his hat. And he is super cute. Couple of buttons. Let's see what I've got here. Just want some small buttons. I've got some really diddy ones, which is always nice. I need some better storage for my buttons. Because trying to find them sometimes can be quite an effort. Right, I've got 3 buttons, 2 black, 1 blue grey, and I'm going to glue those on. I'm going to put the bigger of the 3 buttons in the centre. And I'll put the bluey one at the top. Now you could use hot glue on this if you wanted to. I think this glitter glue will be fine. And one toward the bottom. And there we have him. So cute. There'll be some better pictures of him at the end of the video, but you can do them. And I love the fact that he's still. Okay, and here comes the #1 video, my most watched video ever, with 35,000 plus views, which, as I said at the beginning, completely blows me away. It's a tulle and ribbon wreath, which is ideal for winter and Christmas. I still have this wreath. It still goes up when I use silver and whites at Christmas, and I occasionally put it up on the front door during the winter months. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of this video. And you'll see me again. My next video will probably be the home tour, but as we are here and we're in December, Merry Christmas. Iridescent white hearts on it. I've got this deco mesh, or this mesh ribbon, which was sent to me by a friend and subscriber, and this is 5.5 inches and it's 30 feet, and this is 6 inches and 25 yards, and I have some silver shiny tulle, and this is 25 yards by 6 inches. I have this silver metallic ribbon which is in my stash, and I have this glitter ribbon which was also sent to me by a friend and subscriber, and this is, I think this is from the Dollar Tree, and this is 12 feet and it's 5/8 of an inch. I've got some white chenille stems or pipe cleaners. I've got a wreath form which is available from my store. This is a 12-inch wire wreath form, and a store link will pop out now. There'll also be one in the description box. And I've got my B plate from my Cuttlebug. As you can see, it's well loved, well worn, and I use this to cut the lengths I require. So what I'm going to do with these, as they're all about 6 inches, this is slightly smaller, it's 5.5, but this measures 6 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap all of these items around this, not at the same time, obviously, at different times. So let me do the white tool with you. So we have the white tool, and I am simply going to use this to wrap the tool around. I'm going to wrap it around, wrap. These lengths don't have to be 100% perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm a crafter, and we don't do perfect, do we, crafters? So I'm going to wrap this, and I'm probably going to do about a good quarter of the spool, because I don't know how much I'm going to need, and I don't want to cut too much and not need it. So I'm just going to cut that off there. But where I've got this going around here, I'm going to slip my scissors in, and I'm going to cut all the tool that I've spun around this board from my Cuttlebug, and the same on the other end, and that will give me approximately 6-inch squares. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but if you want perfection, just take your time. But what I'm left with will be 6-inch squares. So I'm going to do that with both the mesh, the other tool, my ribbons, and then I will be right back with you. As you can see, I'm doing the same with the ribbon, but I'm putting the ribbon so it's closer together, because obviously if you do it so it's sprawled out, by the time you cut this side, all the ribbon at this end is going to be loose, and obviously depending on how big your hands are, you may not have the palm span to reach up and grab it. So I'm just going to do quite a bit of this lovely white sparkle ribbon, and then cut it at the bottom. And because I've got it very close together, I can turn it over and do the same thing at the top, and that gives me all those lengths of 6-inch of the white sparkle ribbon. Be warned, crafters, that glitter tool sheds a lot, and I'm not a big fan of loose glitter, so that was quite a shock. Right, so I've got my piles of different materials and mesh and tool and whatnot. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, these chenille stems are 12 inches. Yeah, they're 12 inches. So I am going to cut them in half, because I don't need them to be 12 inches in length. If you find it easier to work with a longer chenille stem or pipe cleaner, then please leave them at the desired length that you need. So if you need them at 12 inches, then do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of these deco mesh, and what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to scrunch it up. Actually no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them. I am going to layer each of my materials, so that's the deco, the sparkle, and the white with the hearts. Then I'm going to add maybe one, or shall I add both? Okay, I'm going to add both, and then I'm going to scrunch that all together. So we're kind of making a faux bow. Now, using my pipe cleaner, I am going to attach those together, doing it, making sure it's nice and tight. I hope that was all in frame. I'll do another one with you, and then I can just play with them. My ribbon doesn't have wire in it, but obviously if you prefer to use wire ribbon, then that's your choice. So that's one. So I'm just going to go through that again with you, just in case I was off camera. I'm going to grab one of the mesh pieces. I'm going to grab the white tool, and I'm going to grab the glitter silver tool, as well as one of the ribbons, silver ribbons, and one of the glitter ribbons. Okay, and then I'm going to gather it all together, almost like a fake bow, with my other half of the pipe cleaners or chenille stems, I'm going to gather them together. So I am going to do loads of these kind of gathered bows, if you like. I'm going to do all that with all this material here, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Right, I have a huge pile of these kind of bow looking twists, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to attach them onto my wreath form, starting with the inner ring, and I am simply going to use the pipe cleaners, the chenille stems, to attach them. So I'm just going to go around, because of the deco mesh they get caught. I'm just going to go around the whole entire inner ring. Right, crafters, those kind of bow clusters that I made, that was enough for the inner ring. Now I'm cutting my second roll of the deco, or the mesh, into 6-inch squares. So I'm just using my ruler and my Tim Holtz scissors to cut these into 6-inch squares, and then I am rolling them, let them go back into their natural roll. So just do one of these on camera for you. So just letting them go back into their natural roll, putting them together, overlapping them again with the pipe cleaners, the chenille stems, and I'm making kind of little ring or rolettes, I suppose you can call them. So that's what I'm in the process of doing, and then they are going on the outside of the wreath, so on the outside edge. So I'm going to get all these done, put it all together, and then I will come back with the finished wreath. Right, in regards to the back side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and make sure all these pipe cleaners and chenille stems are tied wrapped round together all the way to the end, and then I'm going to wrap them around the wreath form itself, so the back will be much tidier. So I'm just going to push everything through, but I decided I'm going to put these, remember these snowmen that I got from the pound store after Christmas? I decided I'm going to hang one on the inside, so I'm just going to attach it to the outer ring using you guessed it, a pipe cleaner, chenille stem, whatever you prefer to call them. So I'm just going to see if that length is okay. Just turn it around because I want him to be nestling inside the wreath, which he does. So that's about the right sort of turn him around. Yep, right, so I'm going to take my camera down now and show you the wreath with the snowman nestled inside. So bear with me 2 ticks. As you can see, crafters, that tool sheds like a dog getting its winter coat. It's ridiculous. I like the end result. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It does shout winter to me. So on the outside we've got just the deco rings or loops. Then on the inside we have the tool and the ribbon, and then we have the cute little snowman on the inside. But I think it turned out rather cute. It's probably about 14 inches altogether once you get the loops on the outside. So I shall pop him on the door, and you'll see a decent picture on the thumbnail. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.